DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax.
Hello, storytellers, and welcome to DreamWeavers StarTrax, hosted by Zai and myself, Zai. And today we have
Erica Vanlee.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about what they're going to get in.
Well, Miss Erica is a friend of ours and a student, and we've known her for a long, long time, and she's going to take you on a wild and fun journey. Because the question is not, what does Erica Vanlee do? The question is, what doesn't Erica Vanlee do? She is a singer, songwriter, actor, aerialist, and she does some really fun novelty work, too.
Yes.
So we're going to ask her the question we ask all our guests. Miss Erica, how old were you when you knew this is what you wanted to do for
You want to be a storyteller performer?
16 years old.
You were 16. Okay. And how did you come across that
Well,
realization?
my cousins used to come over and sing in the kitchen, and they had like the most beautiful voices, and I was like, oh my God, this to be able to perform and to do something like this, just even that, like to sing in a kitchen would be amazing, right? And then when I was younger, I was also like affiliated with theater, and I looked up to my a lot of people like Annette Funicello. Like I recited the entire movie when I was younger, and I
Disney people, old school. Just saying.
Of course. But I just always wanted to perform my entire life, being a cheerleader, all the homecoming queen, all these types of things. I mean, led me to join theater when I started college. So that's kind of where it started.
And so did you have support at home?
I did it. Well, I did and I didn't. My parents were like a little iffy about theater because they were like, well, maybe you should go to med school or maybe do
real job
theater
thing, right?
as an elective thing.
Got it.
And I'm like, no, I think I want to do this. Yeah.
That is so cool. So, and you guys know, we already know the journey, but so I'm just going to ask some questions here. So Miss Erica, studying.
I started studying in Alexandria, Louisiana at LSUA in Alexandria.
That's where you're from, right?
Louisiana. Yes, Louisiana.
Louisiana people.
Yeah, I'm from
a
really small town of 2,000 people. And and we're all Cajuns there. So
That is
I'm
so
from
cool.
the swamp.
Look at her. She doesn't look like a swamp princess, does she?
And no, they don't eat alligators. Stop that. I heard that.
Do
Stop.
not
No.
eat alligator. So you went to college there, and
Yes, for a couple years, and then I found out about this really great program called the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London.
in London, people, those of
And
you that
so-
know about acting,
One of the top places in the world only.
Just saying.
So I
for
thought,
acting.
just to give myself options, because I did have like a Cajun accent, which is really fine and cool. I thought, well, if I want to be on TV, I need to kind of lose the accent if I need to, right?
Right.
So I went to New York City at the Twin Towers, and I auditioned right before the Twin Tower incident, about 7 months before. And so I was cast in the summer program at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts.
oh my God!
So,
So who are some of the alumni from the Royal Academy?
I believe that Sir Anthony Hopkins, he
Yes.
workshopped there, and actually for orientation on the first day, he actually was a guest and came in. We're like, oh my God, this is amazing. He's here and he's talking
We're
to us.
not
and I'm like,
worthy.
yes,
Yes,
we're
he's really-
lucky
oh my
because
God.
he's our lucky charm that he's
Right.
here, you know.
And we all know that a lot of those English actors are getting the American actors job, and a lot of them went to the Royal Academy. So
Yes.
that's like huge. So when you get out of the Royal Academy, what happened?
When I got out of the Royal
Listen
Academy,
to this, people.
I took a ferry to Dublin, and then I thought that I should continue my studying there, and so I did a couple workshops at the Gaiety School of Acting, maybe for like a week, and then I found out that Jim Sheridan was filming a film with Fox Searchlight, And I thought, oh, I want to go be part of that film. You know, I was like 19 and I was a thespian.
And who's Jim Sheridan?
He wrote Name of the Father and My Left Foot.
Please,
Ooh,
Daniel Day-Lewis,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
saying.
Great piece.
Oh, yeah, he's my
Couple,
hero.
couple of Oscars there.
Can I marry him right now?
Yes, he's
Like,
yours.
right?
I'll hook it up.
Right?
We'll leave our number. Just
Yeah,
keep
exactly.
watching.
But yeah, so I was there and I put a beret on because I thought that's what you're supposed to do as a thespian, right? And I walked on set and everyone thought I was part of the, you know, the crew or whatever. And I walked in and I knocked on the door on this little trailer.
And you just walked through security.
Yes, and I said, hey, I'm here to audition for a part, and they're like, hold on, just sit right there, you know, who's this person? And then, yeah, so they ended up giving me like a small part, like 3 words, but I was like elated. I was
Still
like,
good.
But I love her approach. A
Yeah.
Scottish spy comes sliding. Yeah.
But the whole thing is that she's like the bumblebee. You know, they're not supposed to be able to fly because their bodies are too big and their
Yes,
wings are too
right.
small. And so she
Definitely.
didn't know that you don't get on a film, especially with a
By
major
walking
writer
on it.
and director, by walking on set and asking for a part.
right? It's like, no, but I did. So,
But that's determination. I
But
love it.
true to Erica Vanlee fashion,
Yeah, right.
she got a part. So what happened after that?
So after that, during that time, I thought, well, I was like infatuated by bass, electric bass at the time, because living in Dublin, you know, there's many musicians, and I was hanging out with my friend who's a famous bass player now, Neil Paltridge, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to buy a bass today. So we were actually walking in Temple Bar area, and we spotted Elvis Costello and his mother. So we're like, okay, we're gonna like follow him right behind him, and like I touched his shirt. I'm like, it's good luck because I touched his shirt. I'm gonna be the most amazing bassist in the world. Like Prince would have hired me.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's amazing how
Would've,
we.
yeah.
But
Exactly.
And so did you become a brilliant bass player?
No, I did not. Yeah, it's more of a piece
but
of.
did it keep you in the business even more?
It's a
See?
yeah, exactly.
A percentage is always worth
It's
something.
decoration in my house now. There's a story behind it. But after that, I thought, before I went home, I found out that the house that I grew up in burned down. And so my mom didn't tell me until I flew back to Louisiana. And I thought, well, I have nothing to lose here. I had a car at the time, and I thought I'm gonna try to get into Harvard for 1 semester. That's all I can afford. So I ended up
Come on.
getting
Community
in.
College, Royal Academy in Harvard. Okay.
So I ended up going there, and they're like, well, it's this amount of money, and my parents didn't have the money, so I was like, okay, I have this car, okay, I sell it, and then I go, and I'm like, it was a phenomenal experience. I'm so happy I did that.
So
yeah.
you did all of that. Then you ended up in music. Then you kind of
Yeah.
went into music, created an album, ended up on stage with magicians, then ended up in the air doing really wild things. That's a lot of transitions.
Yes.
I was gonna, in our next, when we come up with the other parts, I'm going to be very fascinated in both of our parts to find out how you transitioned to each part and what happened and how you did that so fluidly. Because most people are lucky if they figure out one. I'll try them all.
So how old were you when you did your first gig?
I was, I want to say 19. Yeah.
19.
The film. Yes.
Jim Sheridan's film was her first gig. All right, just saying, not me. Okay.
Before community college plays, and those were awesome. But my first paid gig
Is that?
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
So how did you transition from one talent to the next? How did you do that?
Well,
Sound like Ren.
right. That's my twin right
They're
there.
kind of the same person. You
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
I'm blonde under here. But so after Harvard, I moved to Vegas to finish
Harvard.
my theater
Yes,
degree.
you went to Harvard.
And I thought going to UNLV would give me the opportunity to take classes and audition for shows. So as soon as I started my school and everything, I was like, oh my God, like this is great. And then I met a magician who connected me to the amazing Jonathan from Comedy Central. And I started like performing in that show, and I was also a tour manager in that show, and I did a lot of things. But through that experience, that kind of opened my world up to music, because it gave me autonomy and the time to be able to do that.
Wow.
To delve into it. Yeah.
That is impressive stuff. My gosh. What we're going to come up with next is we're going to break this up because it is so everywherely cool.
Amazing.
Let's start with the music side, which is in take 2.
Bam.
So we're going to be back in just a few moments, and we're going to find out how she got into songwriting, why the bass is hanging on the wall,
Right.
and
About her
you're
singing,
going to
people.
you're going to get to see one of the videos and some of the singing she did, and she just transforms into multiple people. We're going to catch you on the flip side. See you on take 2.
Be right back, Miss Erica.
Place I used to know so well. Signs faded away like the memories. I'm still the girl that you met that can do anything. You better listen to me. Sunshine. I see now that you're coming, never to be found. Out of this place, can't you see me? I still can be a little doll. Take me out and fly away. I can't find any reason to move on. Help me get me out of this place. Can't you see me? I still can be a little doll. Take me out and fly
DreamWeavers StarTrax.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to DreamWeavers StarTrax. I am Karen Zai, and I'm here with the beautiful, talented Miss Erica Vanlee, who is a singer, songwriter, actor, aerialist, and works in the novelty and magic industry also. So and she's been a long time DreamWeavers client. And,
Yes.
And we'll delve into that and tell you how we met and our history together. One of my favorite questions to ask the women that come on the show is, Miss Erica, have you faced any challenges in any of the industries, whether it be acting or magic or, singing and songwriting, because you're a woman?
Yes.
I knew she was going to say that. I know the answer. So what have you done to deal with that? And
I just say embrace it. As a woman, be a woman. Don't try to be a man. Like, it's okay that we're beautiful and we have this feminine energy. And if that's who you are, just, own it. And I found that, throughout my career, sometimes some maybe directors or producers would come up to me and say, oh, you're like a pretty face. What else do you do? Kind of things. I'm like, what?
yeah, they
it's
wouldn't
just
say
kind
that
of-
to a dude.
Right.
Right.
And oh, you went to college? Oh, super surprised. I'm
Because
like,
you're beautiful, you can't be smart or talented.
yeah, I
right.
think we're all beautiful. It's like, what?
Right. So just embrace who you are, stay feminine, and don't.
if that's who you are, if you're feminine, and just own it. It's okay. Yeah.
And don't try to beat them at their own game as being them.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. I love that. Well, let's talk about your singing and your songwriting, because you started singing when?
When I was, I want to say 18. I sang before when I was younger, but I
Right.
started taking classes when I was 18.
And who'd you study with?
Her name's Beverly Easterling from Louisiana. I took
Right.
some lessons from
Hey,
her.
Beverly.
Yeah, and then when I transferred to UNLV in the theater program, I studied with a couple of teachers there in the opera. In the music department,
Right.
and then I was in an opera there. I had a small part as an alto singer. That was so fun. And then shortly after that, I started training with you.
I met Erica that
Yeah.
way for her singing, and because you wanted to sing more musical theater, contemporary,
More pop.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most of the universities teach classical training, opera training. So and it doesn't really the technique doesn't translate over to contemporary theater or any contemporary music. So we started rocking there, and so then you became a songwriter. What happened? How did you decide to be from theater to a songwriter?
Well, from being in the Amazing Jonathan show, that show gave me a lot of opportunity and time to work on my own art and my own creative things that I wanted to pursue. And I thought, well, right after graduating from UNLV, I thought, no, I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to go hit the LA scene and go act and do all this. And I'm like, no, this is really good here with the Amazing Jonathan show. And I'm like, what's a way for me to be creative on film and also write? And I thought, well, I love songwriting, and I thought that would be the great step. So I took one of your classes.
Yeah.
At the time, you were
Ren and I were doing
yeah.
some workshops on songwriting
Exactly.
workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God, she took to it like a duck to water. It's kind of a weird analogy, but it's true.
Yeah, so I ended up writing 5 songs, and
What?
yeah, I put out like a couple music videos, and then I ended up touring in Europe like the year later.
Yeah. And I have to say this, everybody. Okay, who does that? I mean, this is Erica Vanlee. One of the reasons we want her on the show, because she decides to do something, and there is nothing. Those of you guys that are students, there is nothing in her way. She sees what she wants, and she does what it takes to get it ethically, kindly, lovingly, and
Thank
she
you.
accomplishes everything. I mean, who goes to a songwriting class, writes 5 songs, goes and records them, and then does a music video? Because she didn't just see the song; she saw the whole production
Yeah.
to the end of, and then she gets booked in Istanbul, right? Istanbul, really? Okay. So so she did that, and she toured Europe, and you did
Yeah.
all that kind of great stuff. And one of the things that I have to say is her networking skills are amazing.
I love
Because
networking.
this is a people business,
Yes.
right? And it's the people help you get where you want to go, and she's kind and loving, and they want to help her, and that's amazing.
Thank you.
So what are you doing? What have you done to help with your singing? Like, vocal health is an issue, right? Especially when you're touring in a foreign country with time changes and different food and different climates. So what did you do?
I think I love lattes, of course, but so I just
Who
if I'm
doesn't?
gonna drink coffee in the morning, I make sure it's in the morning and not like 4 or 5 hours before a show. And then before a show, I drink like hot tea and honey and things, and just kind of like chill out a little bit,
Right.
like take a nap, like just really conserve all of my energy and think
relax.
about what I'm doing and go over my show in my head. Yeah.
Rest. Don't stress yourself up
Yes.
out until the nth degree before you get on stage.
Right.
Very, very, very important. So you became an aerialist. Okay, wait a minute. Actor, singer-songwriter, touring, magic, aerialist? What? How did that come about?
So when I first moved to Vegas, I went to the V show that was at the Venetian at the time, and there was a duo aerial act and on white silks, and I just thought it was so stunning and gorgeous and goddess-like.
I'm going to cut you off there because, I mean, this goes out worldwide. In us in Vegas, we know exactly what aerial silks are. But would you explain that
Yeah.
to, and you'll see it in the next cut. We have a bunch of video in the next segment. But
So-
what are aerial silks?
It's acrobatics. You might remember them from maybe watching a Cirque du Soleil show. It's a very long fabric, about 35 to 40 feet in the air. And we do like aerial dance and drops and movements in the air. It's really beautiful.
It's gorgeous and
Yeah.
dangerous, people. So okay, so you just couldn't want to hurt this.
If you want to
really.
try it, put a big mat underneath
With a
you.
big net. So you decided to do it because you.
I was just so inspired. I thought, it's just so gorgeous, because I'm not really a fan of the gym. And
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, I
who
understand.
is?
Ren always says
Yeah.
that, for me to work out, I got to get paid.
I just thought it would be something beautiful that I could do with my body, like flex. It's just beautiful body art. It's just stunning. It's avant-garde. It's surreal. I don't know. It's otherworldly. I don't know.
That's amazing. And two things I want to say. Where are you performing now, so people can come see you?
So I'm performing aerial at the Hard Rock on Fridays.
Las Vegas people.
There's a party pit in the middle, and we have a trapeze, a hammock, and a lira, which is like a hoop, and we're performing 30-minute shows every hour. So yeah, come out and check us out.
And you're going to
Have a lot
be
of fun.
touring in October?
I'm going back on tour in August.
In August.
Yeah, with one of Chris Angel's shows, The Supernaturalist.
That is so cool. Wow. So I'm going to come see you at the Hard Rock.
Please.
And I know you have some other things that you can't talk about right now, but I'm going to come see them, and we'll let you guys know where else she's performing. So we are going to say goodbye for this segment, but stick around because next segment, Ren's going to be talking with the beautiful Erica Vanlee about her acting and her storytelling. And you gotta wait because she's been in a couple cool TV shows and a cool movie that was just released, right? And you wait till you hear who she's performing with. So you'll hear about Erica Vanlee as a storyteller. And I want to say I love you, Erica. I
love you
personally
too.
will see you in segment 4.
I'll see you there.
See you there. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
DreamWeavers StarTrax.
Welcome back, storytellers, to DreamWeavers StarTrax, and we're back with Miss Erica Vanlee. And this segment we're going to find out because you have done so many variations on performing, and we're usually talking about singing and we're talking about acting, but you've also done novelty and circus style stuff, which is very different. What do you do other than, try not to fall? It's always a good one.
Right.
What do you do that's different, distinctively different for, okay, you're as an acrobat, how do you develop your performance in that? As well as, of course, you've got to be very mindful of everything without looking like you're being mindful
yeah.
of everything.
Well, for example, right now I perform with another girl. Her name is Christy, and we have a duo act called The Femmes. And when we start creating our act, we go through the entire creation process.
Oh,
So
okay.
we pick out the music, we pick out the feeling, and our intention, the dialogue, inner dialogue.
Right.
So that when we're on stage, we don't have this blank look,
That's always good.
So it's really
Dancer's face, we call it sometimes.
Yeah, so it's really important to have that, and just the creation process, like our relationship,
Right.
and eye contact is really important. There's a lot of little subtleties too.
Nice. Yeah, we saw a little bit in the segment earlier where you were moving, and I love the part where as you're going down, you pick up the fan, but as one moves, you look like a unit where another person's doing something at the
Yes.
identical timing. So that obviously took a lot of training to set up for
And
that.
even though we're silent, there's
Yeah.
an inner dialogue. There's a story.
All right,
Because it's
beautiful.
very important. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
let alone that you just don't fall over.
Yes.
That
Or
is
crack,
so
yes.
impressive. Oh my goodness. Now, obviously the airless and the balancing act is pretty phenomenal. In themselves, they're what I call a red marble in a room full of white marbles. They're noticeable. But what do you do? Because there are many airless in the world, but not a lot of people see them. What do you do? Because you do look distinctively different. The dress, the movement, the expressions. What are you doing to make sure that you're remembered there?
Well, I think for me, it's more about simplicity in the air. So taking like all my act
Right.
and just basically like it's making sure the music is something that I can relate to, like just not picking just a typical song.
Right.
And then also with costume design, make it my style, make it your own, like
I saw that.
contribute to the world
Very
of,
artistic.
to the world of art, because if
right.
I just go buy something somewhere, it's very different. Just put your stamp on it, basically. Yeah.
I got that. Yeah, when we were young and we used to do circuses, we had actually a Russian lady who would design conceptually for us. It was kind of fun at that point. The other thing I want to talk about, because you've also had amazing training in so many areas, I want to go to, because a lot of us who are watching television, things of this nature, are beginning to see a lot of actors, and then later we learn, wait a minute, they're English.
Yeah, right.
And you can't even tell through their accents. You went to the Royal London, not Royal London, forgive me, Royal Academy of Art. Sorry, that was
Of
a
Dramatic
show
Arts,
we
yeah.
had.
Yeah, RADA, yeah.
And I want to ask, could you describe to someone what it's like a day at the Academy?
Yeah, so we wake up at 6 a.m., take the tube
That's definitely not our
to
colleges.
the Guge street station. And then we have our little breakfast, and then our biscuits and tea or coffee, and then we start our class. And we have like 8 classes a day, anywhere from Stanislavski technique, voice and movement. There's like a sonnet workshop, stage combat. But they really know how to
Stage combat. Just too cool of a day. Now that's a fun day in college. Oh my goodness. And for those who are actors, you know, she said Stanislavski. Remember, Stanislavski's who's taught Adler, and the method came from it as well with Meisner, but Stanislavski is, so you actually take the direct connection prior to what we got over here in America. Nice. Well, how is that slightly different? Tell me a little bit about Stanislavski's approach for those who are wondering.
Well, it's just delving in a little bit deeper, and like with my teacher, anyways.
Right.
Yeah. And to a point where you're a little bit uncomfortable. Like we were,
I like
we had
that.
to do this scene. We all walked into the class one day, and he's like, "I need everyone to close their eyes and pretend you're a penguin." So I'm thinking, okay, close my eyes. And everyone just walk around and think about being in the cold and kind of see what happens. And everyone's like kind of trying to open their eye a little bit. Like, what if someone comes out with a knife and stabs me? Like, you're
Fight or flight
you're very-
syndrome
yeah,
jumps
you're
right
very
in. Close your eyes,
uncomfortable.
wander around. Someone may
But
kill
it
me.
was cool. But like we did a lot of different things like that, and you walk away like, why did we do that? But it was pretty cool.
Because it removes you from who you are to
Exactly.
become someone else. Nice. I
And we
love.
start in with that before we work on our sonnets or our monologues.
Too cool. I mean, and then you get to now. When you said combat training, kind of give me an idea. What are some of the things they're training you in at that point?
Like, say if I punched you in the face, and maybe like, typical stage pratfalls, different
Right.
things like that. Like hitting
Important
without
stuff.
hitting type of thing, It's kind of magical though.
Okay, yeah, I'll bet.
It's kind of like magic.
So some of the fun stuff you got to do there, and did you ever? Well, I'm sure you did there, because one of the things that happens when actors have been working on it, a point where they begin to transpose beyond themselves, it's kind of for me personally, it's been like a dreamlike state, and you become so much of that person afterwards. It takes a little bit to reacquire for a few moments. Oh, right, I'm not that person.
Yeah, you kind of need to like move on from that
yeah.
role. Yeah, because you spend so much time, developing it, and you kind of become that. It's strange to go back and forth, because when you leave rehearsal, you're like, okay. Just
Right. And
let it
there's
go.
remember, you put the mask on, but you take it off because you don't want to go home and scare mom.
Yes.
And there was an actor in our 60s who was a great comedian, Winters, and he did a fabulously funny character as a grandma, except the part where for 6 months after the show was over, he drove around as grandma. So take the mask off. It's also important.
Yeah, like when I was in the Amazing Jonathan show, I don't want to keep my Bubbles the Clown costume on.
No,
and, like, drive
no,
around
not unless
or-
it's really going to be a unique illusion. Some of the things, so you have picked very intelligently. You went to Harvard, you said, okay, I'm going to go take up acting, so you go to the academy. What is your process to say, why are you choosing so well for teachers and things? What do you
Because
do
I
inside?
feel at that time when I'm planning and figuring it out, I look for whatever I'm inspired by at the time.
Right.
And with Harvard, I knew that it would just be a phenomenal experience, something that I needed to do. And I knew that I couldn't afford like 4 years at college, at Harvard. But like even one semester would really help me grow,
Wow, what
even just as a young kid, like just getting around and just going to Europe. I think that was more of an experience than actually taking the classes, because it's just like taking cabs, finding a place to live, walking around, finding your way, talking to new people, surviving.
How did you figure to choose the academy?
One of my friends was studied there and knew about it, and then I looked it up and I thought, oh, I should go there. Like that, it was like that weird. And
Wow,
like, off
and
the
yet,
cuff.
yeah. I mean, she runs into people. She walks
Yeah.
on set and gets hired. That sounds good. I'll go there, and it
Yeah,
turns
right.
out to be. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you were meant to be good at what you do, and your training
you.
is off the hook.
Well,
and
it's been
I'm
fun.
most amazed by that. there's so much that you do and so much fun that you get into. And we're going to be coming up in a few moments here, so hang in there. We've got a lot of your questions today, so we're organizing them as fast as we can. And we will have the most beautiful Desiree come in, and these questions will be asked and answered. Erica has phenomenal experience, so we're going to be back in just a few moments. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we will see you in take 4.
DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax. DreamWeavers StarTrax.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to DreamWeavers StarTrax, segment 4. And this segment's
I need my
all about you. Yeah, we just had a little technical thing happening here. And usually it's me, but this time it wasn't me, people. It was Ren.
Yeah,
Okay.
there was a miniature pony we had to get out of here.
Miniature pony that was dancing around back here.
With tap shoes.
With
It's
tap
weird,
shoes.
very
It was
weird.
impressive. At least it wasn't hard to clean up after, like the
right.
elephants. But okay.
So we brought our beautiful producer, Desiree, and she is going to be asking questions from the audience of the beautiful Miss Erica, and Ren and I got big mouths, so we'll probably chime in at some time too, because we just can't shut up, people.
Hello, everyone. Just before we get started, I just want to throw a really big, loving shout out to the Florida people with everything that's been
Yes.
going on.
Thank you.
Just want to reach out and say we love you. Our prayers are with you guys. Okay, now we can get started. Okay, so our first question is from Ashley from North Dakota, and she says, Erica, what inspired you to go into your singing career? And she would also like to know what your favorite color is.
Oh.
Very cool, Ashley.
Today my favorite color is, because it depends on the day and my mood. It's like kind of a red, burnt orange color.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Nothing
don't know
wrong with that.
I don't know the name of that color, but that's the color that it is. So,
And then what inspired you to get into singing?
when I was younger, I listened a lot of things. We're all inspired by so many things every day, right? But when I was younger, I listened to Bjork and Tori Amos. I loved their writing. I loved how creative Tori was with her writing and her piano, and I loved how Bjork was so left, you know, with everything. And, yeah, right. I just loved her. So I would say that's where my, inspiration came from. Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
And I'm a voice teacher, and I never knew that. So that's like really cool. Now I know what her inspiration is. Bad, Corinne.
All right, we have a question from Mike from Reno, Nevada. And he says, I've seen the Amazing Jonathan show a couple of times in Las Vegas and have two questions for Miss Erica. The first is, were there things as crazy and funny backstage at the show compared to how they were on stage?
Oh yeah, it was a show backstage, as amped as the one on stage. For example, Bruce Block, one of the characters in our show, after he would take his clown costume off, he would be stripping his clown costume off, singing the song from the Broadway musical Steam Heat as loud as he could. Jonathan's on stage like, shut up, you guys back there. Like, we're like nuts back there with all the drama and the fun. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
His second question is,
Look what you started, Mike.
It sounds so Jonathan, by the way.
everyone in the cast of the show were very accomplished performers in their own right. Do you know what they're doing now?
Yes. For example, Bruce Block, you might know him from America's Got Talent. He just wrote a musical called Benjamin Buttons, and he's going to be directing and producing that as well.
Very cool.
He's going to be in it as well. And then Penny, who used to play Psychic Tanya, is now one of the comedy characters in Chris Angel's resident show, Mind Freak Live.
Nice.
That is so
and,
cool. Yeah.
And then Sophie, she was our opening act magician, and now she's performing on dressage. She has horses now, and she trains horses, and she's performing on her horses now. And she's still doing magic, but yeah.
That's amazing.
And you're doing something this fall with a production.
Yeah,
correct?
and
With-
I am. I'm back on the road with his touring show called The Supernaturalist, just for 1 week, and then so that's what we're doing. Yeah.
And I have to bring this up, okay? I have to bring this up about the amazing Jonathan.
Oh,
years
no.
and years and years ago, like a year and a half ago, Erica calls and said, Jonathan is having his Halloween party. You grab Ren and come. Now, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know if he mentioned, but Ren
showed up at midnight,
was in
yeah.
magic. We both were in magic
Yeah.
for many, many decades. So we said, okay, and we went to this party. Oh my God.
It was
Mike.
not a party.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was the most
experience.
insane dimensional funhouse experience you could ever go to, with every corner something bizarh
I
going
mean,
on. It was
the bartender
cool.
was doing black art,
Black art
Yeah.
magic,
and he was
Yeah.
pouring drinks, and all you saw was hands. and you never know when you get food. When you picked up the buffet top, if it was going to be an eyeball or
Or
it was
head.
going to be a head, you had no idea what you were going to eat. So I just have to.
And on stage, we had sideshow performers and other performers that you can't unsee after you see it. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, and some of those we
You
cannot
can't-
fully explain what
No,
you may see.
But it's locked in there, and it's not going away anytime
No.
soon. Yeah.
And there was something I forgot about, a quick question for those who are watching. You are also going to be doing. We already finished a movie
Yes.
that you're credited for doing, and it's with Nicolas Cage and Elijah Wood.
Yes.
What is the title of that movie?
The Trust. Yeah.
Okay, and
And
one more.
that should be coming out in a month in the movies.
Okay, and you're
and-
also going to do The Player, right?
Yes,
With-
I was recently on The Player. That's Wesley Snipes' TV show, and I was in it with my duo partner called the Femmes. And then also I'm performing with the band Fans of Jimmy Century, July 14th at the Copa Room behind the Bootlegger. And you might know Jimmy Century's music from the L Word, Ugly Betty, and The Hills TV show. Yeah,
and,
you can
and
say
follow her lead. Just
Yeah, I'm gonna
walk
be-
right in, sit down, and say, "I'm auditioning." Right
that. So I'll be backup singing for them a lot, having a lot of fun. So.
now, more questions from you.
We have another question from Tiffany from St. Charles, Illinois. What advice would you give to young people trying to follow in your footsteps?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, I feel like if you have a dream, just go for it and try to find. It's all about resources and people, finding really good classes and being around the good people and good friends, and being around people that will motivate you and that are positive and that are going to lift you up. So also, don't be afraid of trying different things. Like if you want to go take an acting class or a singing class, don't be afraid. Like I'm very shy with singing. I put out an album, and Corinne knows that. I love Corinne. She's an amazing teacher, and she's helped me a lot. And she knows how shy I am. And like when I'm on stage, I'm not. But when I'm in classes, I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? So just don't let fear, overcome you.
It is not your
ignore it.
friend.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's actually a prehistoric chemistry thing, so just let go of it.
Yeah.
It's funny. 20,000 people, I'm fine. 4 people I don't know.
Or people I know.
Not me. I'm fine in front of 4 people.
Nine more
I'm fine in front of
behind. She's
40,000, 400,000. I love it.
Next important question is,
So we have one last question. Is there an audition? I'm so sorry, I can't read today. Is there an audition process for aerialists? If so, what's that like? And that's from Tiana from Flagstaff, Arizona.
So with aerial, for example, I've trained for 9 years. So there's so many different, it's just really working hard, learning your technique, and say when you have your act, there's auditions through Cirque. You could go on Cirque.com and you can create a username and password, and then a lot of times they'll send auditions out. And there's a lot of different places that you can look online for auditions, but basically it's getting your act, your 5 to 6 minute act, and to your music, and just make sure you're ready for that. Also be really good at your flexibility and your body awareness and safety and rigging. There's so many different things to
safety,
think.
big
Yes.
word.
Big word.
And
Yeah.
Miss Erica, it has been so delightful having
Thank you for
here
having me
today.
on.
And for those who want more questions, remember the bottom thirds, review the shows when they're online, download them, and you will see her information to contact her. Now, next week, another person that you know.
Yes, we have DJ Pride 3000. She is amazing. I can't say too much about her. What a trip. Crazy Girls Las Vegas, Splash Las Vegas, Pride in the Vanities, Deadly 7. Amazing. Now she's a DJ and a DreamWeavers client. Now I'm announcing who won the tickets to see Lady Reiko and One Drop Redemption at
I
House
love
of
them.
Blues this Saturday.
We have tickets.
Mike
She's awesome.
Petrakis, I will text you. Amy Patukovich, yes, I think I have your name right. I will text you. And Diana Simmons, I will text you. You 3 won 2 tickets to go see them.
Awesome.
And we will catch you next week.
Love you
Aloha.
guys.
DreamWeavers StarTrax.